Hi, I'm Jo from Pointer, and I've got Shane from SD Talent, who's a HR consultant who specialises in executive search and coaching. And today we're talking about interview questions to ask candidates that you're interviewing for a remote position, and things to really take into consideration that are quite specific to someone that won't be working in your office. So Shane, do you want to give us a run through about what are some key areas that people should be interviewing around?
Okay, thanks, Jo. So primarily when you're responsible for an employee who's sitting off site, you want to make sure that they're good at organisation, that they can work autonomously. You don't want phone calls every 5 minutes, and or alternatively, they know when to ask for help, so they don't get stuck and sit on it and then just go, oh, oops, don't know where to go here. So you want to see someone with initiative and that they can complete tasks. So when you're looking at those sort of elements, and I'll go through those again, so you might want to jot them down: organisation skills, autonomy, the ability to work for autonomy, the ability to ask and know where to find answers, and to show initiative. When you want those elements in your person, we need to test each one of them. So don't just pick out one, go for the 5. And I recommend you ask a question looking at a behavioural example. So a behavioural example is one where they give you, from their experience, a particular situation where they demonstrate that competency. Now, the competency of initiative, let's look at that in particular. If you were going to ask a candidate, and let's say you're doing it over the phone, or maybe doing FaceTime or Zoom, recommend any of those, and it's great to have that facial feedback from a candidate. They will be nervous, but it still gives you good feedback. I'll give you an example of a question. Describe a time when you demonstrated your initiative. What did you do, and what was the result? Now, what you want here is a candidate to give you an example of the actual situation, the task they were accountable for, what they were required to deliver, and what they did deliver. Now, your questions right at the front, it's quite okay to say to a candidate, I'm going to ask you questions for behavioural examples. I want you to focus on giving me the situation you were in, the task you were doing, your accountability, and the result. And I do this, and I'm a pretty seasoned old recruiter, and I do this at the beginning of my recruitment cycle with each candidate. So they give me a particular example. What you get from that is the ability for you to get in underneath what they actually did and make an assessment for yourself on how effective that result was. Now, ideally, it's going to be something you can see is comparable with your work situation, but it may not be. The best thing about this is when you go to do a final reference on this candidate, use the same questions. Can you give me an example where Jo was responsible for did demonstrate initiative? And they can then give you that an example. It won't be the same, but it gives you the chance to make the decision for yourself. Is that effective? Were they effective in the role? And that's what interviewing is about. It only is effective if you believe you're getting to the crux of what they did in their previous work, not an opinion from them on what they did. So go for examples, and they will give you, if you probe them, they will give you the results they've delivered. And that's it. Over to you.
That's great.
Thanks, Jo.
That's great, Shane. Thanks very much for that.
Still kerfuffled around.